Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. Uh, as is my practice when there's a major event, I usually wait a minute and get more information and so forth. And I want to talk about the helicopter versus American Airlines crash at National Airport last week or a few days ago. The cause was pilot error on the part of the helicopter pilots, the two pilots that were flying that. And I'm going to get into that why. The airline had no chance. They had no chance. The people died. They didn't even know they were going to die. It was like getting hit by a sniper, you know. So the good news is they didn't see it coming, you know, so they couldn't do that thing. So I am a pilot. I've got thousands of hours of flying, flown military, combat missions, been an instrument instructor, airplane owned my own, flown into National Airport several times, so I know that airport, in my own airplane. My point is, I know what I'm talking about, right? Forget all the funny businesses going on. I'm going to tell you what happened. Now, I have not listened to the black boxes. I have not seen the black box. I don't need to. I've flown enough, I can tell you exactly, and I'm going to take you through what happened. Here we go. So this is the ground chart showing the flight path of both the airline, which you will see here, and the helicopter, which is coming down this little thing here. Now, what's important to note is that this is a route called Route 1, right here, which allows the helicopter traffic, any helicopter traffic with clearance, to go through the National Airport airspace, which is right here. It's larger than that, but it's right here. And they're supposed to stay 200 feet or below. Understand what I just said? 200 feet or below. If you're 200 feet, that's not a good. You want to be as low as you can get because that means that you're getting close to airplanes that are trying to land here. These yahoos were at almost 300 feet. Let me tell you something. If you blow your altitude by 50 feet, you can't be an Army pilot. You'll bust a check ride. At least you bust my check rides if I gave it to you. No, they screwed up their altitude. So that's the first thing. The next thing that's very telling, well, let me go to the airline and explain their situation. That airplane was not circling the land. He was maneuvering to land on this airport. And he had clearance. He was down and dirty. That means gear down, flaps down, slats out. And his right wing was high because he's making a turn. Right wing high, nose down. He had no chance of seeing that helicopter. Impossible. So that flight crew of the airline, no way they could see it. No way they could see it, right? So they were doing what they're supposed to. They were in the airspace they were supposed to be in, and the tower was doing what they were supposed to with that airplane. The helicopter, on the other hand, no, the tower is not really talking to them because when you deal with helicopters in your airspace, unless they're on an instrument approach, their job is to stay out of the way. And air traffic controllers expect helicopters to use their own pilot eyes to keep clearance from traffic. It is the responsibility of every helicopter pilot, in this case, to stay clear of traffic, period. It's not the controller's job, nothing. It's the pilot's job to do that. No, and if anybody says different, they are ill-informed. So let's take this track. Now, this is the river, right? I'm sorry, the airplane was coming this way. I'm looking at this backwards. So here's the river. This is the east side of the river. This is the west side of the river. So here they come diddy bopping down. And what happens here? I'm sorry, I can't hold this any steadier. They make a 90-degree turn out to the river. A low level 90-degree turn when they're supposed to be going this straight. They're not supposed to deviate from that route. And I went, why? What happened that they did that? So what I did is I went, hold on. So what I did is I went to Google Earth and I stood here. I stood here and looked this way. What did I find? The money shot. From that position, you have one of the most beautiful views of the skyline of the capital of the United States. The only way you get that money shot is to be in a helicopter with permission to traverse that. You can't even fly a drone because right next to that is a park, and next to that is the Defense Information Agency and TSA and government agencies, and you can't fly drones close to them. So here comes this pilot, diddy-bopping down, and they look out and they go, oh my God, and they want to take the shot. So they deviate from the flight path, and it's unobstructed. Whatever, and then they decide, oh shit, we can't get too far. So then you see them make the turn to get back where they're supposed to be, right? Back on Route 1. The problem was they were fucking around out here. They got off their altitude by 100 feet. 100 feet. And they couldn't see the airliner from where they were, right? And so by the time they got back on course, they had seconds, not even seconds. It was impossible for them to avoid that airplane. Impossible. And they couldn't see it until it was too late. And I'm telling you, you cannot not see an airliner in your windscreen that close. And I have been that close. So the pilots screwed up, period. Pilot error. And don't know what's going to happen with that. People talk about how many hours they had. Well, they had one of them had 500 hours. That doesn't give you any kind of experience in the Army aviation. That person was just basically out of flight school. 500 hours? That's nothing. They absolutely did not have the experience to be diddy-bopping in the formation, so to speak, coming down that route. The aircraft commander, I'm assuming, or whoever, had 1,000 hours. Well, that's not bad, but they should have known better. So, I'm not going to worry about this now because I've been wanting to put this out there. I wanted to show you guys what the path looked like and why, yes, it was a tragedy, but the only people at fault are the pilots of that helicopter. Now, does that mean that there shouldn't be some kind of evaluation? Maybe they changed the route. Maybe, yeah, but that's ancillary to what actually happened. So don't get it twisted. The cause of that crash was pilot error on the parts of the helicopter pilots. And I was an Army aviator with thousands of hours flying those airplanes. So I know what I'm talking about. Now, if somebody wants to try to bust my balls on this, I don't care who you are, bring it, and we can have a conversation. So with that, as always, wherever you can, whenever you can, however you can, carry on.